News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. The Cash Republican Party will hold a special election to nominate a replacement for outgoing County Attorney James Swink during the first week of August. Cash GOP Chair Chris Booth said that the special election will likely be held August 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Only local GOP leaders, precinct officials, and delegates will participate in that voting. After 12 years as county attorney, Swink announced this week that July 5th would be his last day in that elective office. Booth said he expects Cache County Council Chair Gina Worthen to formally notify the party of that office vacancy by July 7th. The local GOP will then have 30 days to provide a list of qualified nominees to the county council for review. This will be the third party special election that has been held in 11 months. Booth explained, referring to the previous local gatherings that selected Jess Bradfield to replace Jill Zollinger as county clerk and David Zook to replace Craig Butters as county attorney. This one will be different because the state code requires that a list is provided of up to 3 qualified candidates to members of the county council. Booth said that the minimum qualifications for a county attorney candidate are that he or she be a resident of the county and licensed by the Utah State Bar Association. KVNU News Time is 4:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Clear skies, overnight low tonight around 60, and then tomorrow sunny and hot, mid-90s, upper 90s on Sunday, mid-90s on Monday. It's 88 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Maple Spring Senior Living. Transitional rehab is perfect for an aging loved one recovering from an illness or surgery. They offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, pain management, help with medicine, and 24-hour access to care. Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com.
Oh, we live in a great area. Are you just back from a camping trip? Don't take your sleeping bags to the dry cleaner. Come to Mount Logan Laundry. For just a few quarters, our 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers will have those bags clean for your next trip. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, plus they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. In a landmark decision, the U.S. Supreme Court has upheld a pair of Arizona election security laws that many experts believe will suppress votes in the next election. In a 6-3 conservative-liberal split, the justices upheld Arizona laws requiring voters to cast a ballot only in their assigned precinct and making it illegal to collect ballots and drop them off at an elections office. In Utah, voting rights advocates are concerned it could pave the way for changes, even though they see the state's election system as fair and efficient. Josh Sellers, law professor at Arizona State University, agrees the decision could embolden other legislatures to adopt laws aimed at voter suppression.
There are these laws at issue in this case, but there's all the other prospective laws that are on the horizon. So we have to kind of wait and see what other laws are implemented before the next election. But there's certainly the possibility that these laws threaten to, I think, decrease voter turnout, and that concerns me.
Sellers, who teaches voting rights law, says lower courts ruled that Arizona laws appear to be aimed at making voting more difficult for people of color. Republicans say their goal in passing stricter laws is to make sure that elections are secure. Well, it happened again. A wolverine was spotted racing past the front yard of a West Layton home Thursday afternoon, according to the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. The doorbell camera video showed the animal make its way up a driveway and across the front yard before moving out of frame. DWR is advising everyone to be cautious if you happen to spot a wolverine. They said in a Facebook post, if anyone sees the wolverine, please keep your distance, enjoy viewing it, and then call them immediately. Wildlife officials would like to place a GPS collar on the animal and then release it in a high elevation area. Tracking its movements will teach them more about wolverines in the state. Although wolverine sightings are incredibly rare in the Beehive State, this isn't the first one spotted in recent months. Back in early May, a wolverine was seen at Utah's Antelope Island State Park. Photos showed the wolverine making its way through the northwest end of the park. KVNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Breaking news and stimulating talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Adams Wealth Advisors has a team covering all aspects of your financial life. Expect specific guidance from advisors that adhere to principles of honesty, professionalism, and integrity. Adams Wealth Advisors has over a decade of service, earning the trust of the individuals they proudly serve.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com to schedule a time with an advisor today.
The results are in for the 2021 Best of Northern Utah contest.
Best of Northern Utah.
Brought to you by Thermo Fisher. Pick up your copy of the Winners Magazine. Pickup locations are listed at bestofnorthernutah.com. Over 300,000 votes were cast to determine gold and silver winners in 164 business categories. Help congratulate these businesses and support all of your local businesses. And thank you for participating in the 2021 Best of Northern Utah contest.
Trouble with pain, sleep, or anxiety? Want better health? Try CBD7, the CBD experts. You simply can't get this water-soluble CBD at grocery, convenience, or health food stores. Water-soluble CBD7 absorbs 15 times better and tastes great. CBD7 has the only clinically proven formula with real measurable results. Many feel better in minutes. CBD7 is not a drug and has no side effects. Other CBDs just can't do all that. Visit CBD7 today. Learn about CBD and try our best for free.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. Friday afternoon, July 2nd. Fireworks now legal here in the Valley, and happy to report that roughly 14 hours into that. We are 15 hours into that. Wow. 15 hours into fireworks being legal here in Utah, and Cache Valley, we're not on fire yet. So fingers crossed it stays this way.
And there's no apparent wildfire smoke from anywhere else. That's sometimes happens this time of year and has happened already.
Yeah,
this summer.
It is just I don't know. Report today on I actually trying to remember who this came from. One of the weather services out there. Yeah, it is 93% of the West right now in extreme drought. The report was detailing what's happening with the Sierra Nevadas, and about 30% is where the reservoirs are at due to the snow melt in the Sierra Nevadas, and a compounding issue there, something we might see here in Utah in the future due to, well, we're already seeing it. We might see it increase or even accelerate here in Utah due to exposed lake bed, as you heard yesterday on the show and discussed Wednesday with Cache County Executive David Zook in the studio. This Gray Salt Lake about to hit days away from hitting a historic low, and that exposes a lot of lake bed. When that dries out and the winds blow, it becomes dust. The immediate concern is that dust becomes, a lot of it is toxic minerals that are not great to have in your bloodstream. The long-term concern is that dust in the air eventually settles, and much of it settles on the snowpack in the fall and winter time. And the dust, those little particles of dust, actually concentrate the sun's heat and melt the snowpack faster. So it melts too fast, and so it's a compounding problem that just kind of, the perpetual machine kind of concept. It has a tendency to accelerate itself, this whole situation. In California, this has been worse, and their snowpack melt, one of the contributors, obviously the major contributor to their snowpack melt has been extreme heat and the low level of snowpack in the first place in the Sierra Nevadas. But another contributor is, all those wildfires last summer, the summer before. How many years in a row has it been, Bill, that a good chunk of California has been on fire? At least 3.
Yeah.
But and they've had a wildfire problem always. But
well, it's been so bad. You think, well, what's left to burn? But California is a very vast state.
Sure.
Land-wise, it's not like Texas, but
still plenty left to burn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so all that smoke from those wildfires that goes up into the air, into the atmosphere, and then it can take a while to settle. Some of those fires burned into the late summer, early fall in California and Colorado as well, and that did contribute to dust settling on snowpack. And again, those particles of dust, it's a combination of them being just a darker color, but also the way they interact with the sun's light and heat. They melt the snow just a tiny bit faster, but it's enough to make a difference. And so that snowpack, in some parts of California, that snowpack had melted off 2 months earlier than is usual. So reservoirs at 30% in a lot of areas there. This is just, it's just a recipe for wildfire disaster out there in general, drought-wise, and then throw the water issues on top of that. It takes a lot of water to fight fires. Anyway, I hope everyone's thinking about this and being careful. So, news today that Utah's unofficial fireworks capital, Evanston, Wyoming, ironically, though they've been doing most of the stores there reported, told Fox 13 when they went out there today to ask that they'd been, selling thousands of dollars of fireworks to Utahns every day. Ironically, the city these stores are located in, Evanston, Wyoming, is under some of the most restrictive fireworks rules they've ever had due to dry conditions out there in Evanston. In fact,
they probably figure people aren't going to shoot them off there.
No, they're just selling them to all the other states that are going to be on fire after the 4th. And these are businesses that are, that are there to make money, and there's obviously a market for this. So I don't blame the business owners, although, it is a bit frustrating that these businesses are located in Evanston, Wyoming, where the fireworks restrictions now are fireworks only July 4th, 5 to 9 p.m. Anything outside of that,
wow.
Apparently they've brought in some volunteer deputies and even recruited some volunteers and even paid a couple of other areas to borrow their police. Apparently they're going to strictly enforce this because there's big concern out there with how dry things are. So in Utah's unofficial fireworks capital, Evanston, Wyoming, where most of us, at least once in our lifetimes, have gone to buy fireworks that are illegal here in this state. I mean, let's admit it. A lot of people have done this. They, ironically, will be restricting their fireworks to 4 hours on Monday. July 4th. 4 hours on Sunday. So 5 to 9 p.m. in Evanston, Wyoming.
It's going to explode.
Yeah. It's just, it's dry out there, to say the least. Check it out. I've posted a link to that story on our Facebook page. As far as Utah, again, no announcements ahead of the 4th of July, different than what you've already heard. And the restrictions are pretty simple to understand. Fireworks are already... Now, each city may have its own independent rules, so you're going to want to at least check your city's website. If it's not there, give them a call. But as far as the county and the state go, here in Cache Valley, all unincorporated areas are off limits to fireworks, target shooting, operating motorized vehicles without spark limiters, chainsaws, things like that. Just a bad idea out there. I saw someone grinding in a field just yesterday. All I could do was shake my head. Hopefully they had a hose nearby. We've got to be careful here, and for a few months, to say the least. But I think we're up to the task. Anyway, nothing new as far as the restrictions go, but again, the restrictions in place. Campfires, consider them basically no-go at this point. There are a few areas in the northern half of the state where campfires in improved camping sites only. That would be camping sites where there is an official, usually some kind of cement or buried campfire pit. There are a few areas in the state where it's still allowed, where campfires are still allowed there. But they're sparse and they're not up here. So campfire is just a no-go, and fireworks outside of the incorporated areas, your unincorporated areas where they are banned, you're going to want to check your city's restrictions. Each city has kind of their own thing going on right now throughout the state of Utah. So, and if you happen to be headed over maybe to visit family or spend time with family along the Wasatch Front, Salt Lake County, Utah County, the restrictions there, city by city, are a lot more toothy, I guess. In fact, in North Ogden, fireworks are banned, period. They said most of the hillside there is just a tinderbox, and they're telling residents just nope. No fireworks this year.
North Ogden's it's kind of built into the foothills somewhat.
Literally.
Yeah.
Fire starts there, and the trouble is, this is why I think the legislature really dropped the ball on this one by avoiding it, which they do for political reasons. But the problem is if you have one city like North Ogden saying, "Look, it is too dry. This is not safe. No fireworks this year." Well, a fire in Plain City gets to North Ogden pretty quickly. Harrisville, Ogden itself. It's unfortunate the legislature didn't find the strength to step up as they were asked to do, but they didn't. So it's city by city. So again, if you're traveling to visit relatives, if you are planning to be in other parts of the state, check local city websites. That's a good place to find it. The State Forester and Utah Fire Information Service, they have some great info as well, including statewide maps there. But again, each city kind of doing its own thing this year. So you're going to want to check for the area you're going to be in. If you're here in Cache Valley, again, restrictions are in place in some areas, not in others. But the guaranteed restrictions, again, no fireworks in unincorporated county areas, and state lands, federal lands, and more off limits to fireworks. Motorized vehicles without spark limiters, any kind of target shooting, things like that. And no change on that this week. So that will likely not change before that will for sure not change before the 4th of July holiday. So them's the rules in place for the upcoming holiday. And if you'd like to read through them in greater detail, I've linked to the Utah Fire Information Authority's own text description of the restrictions, what it means, and even a great explainer as to why these restrictions are in place when it's this dry out there. Link on the Facebook page, and we'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
Celebrate the 4th of July weekend on the shores of beautiful Bear Lake in Garden City. This Saturday night, July 3rd at Heritage Park, enjoy live music with American Idol finalist Bucky Covington. Music starts at 7:30 with fireworks at 10. Plus a moving tribute to our military that's a must-see. There's no cost, but bring your own chairs and blankets. Fireworks, live music, and fun this Saturday night in Garden City at beautiful Bear Lake. Go to bearlake.org and click on events for more information. Happy Independence Day from your neighbors in Garden City.
Did you get a landscape plan and now wonder what's next? You need Canyon Landscaping. They can build any plan into a signature landscape. Since 1999, their team has viewed educating clients as a crucial part of every project. This ensures customers get the best finished landscape for their specific site. No two sites are the same, so be sure to come to the experts with expertise and knowledge of delivering on any landscape plan. Call 752-3838 or go to canyonlandscaping.com. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
Looking for ways to serve but don't know where to begin? Go to justserve.org, a free site to help those who want to serve find opportunities nearby. Just Serve has teamed up with organizations nationwide. Go to justserve.org and type in your city, and you'll see a list of service opportunities. Sign up on Just Serve to receive emails letting you know about new projects. Just Serve is fast, free, and easy. JustServe.org is provided as a service by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. It is big news this week that Cache County Attorney James Swink would be leaving his post as Cache County Attorney. 12 years as County Attorney. Frequent guest here on the show. Fun guy to interview. He can speak so well about courts and the need for increased transparency. And, yeah, we've just had some great conversations with him over the years. So I'm sad to see him go. Swink announced just this week that July 5th would be his last day in that elected office, which means that the Cache County Republican Party, this is, we need to, in fact, I'll reach out to Chris Booth, see if he's got a headache and see if he can talk about that on Monday's show. But this has been a pretty steady thing here in Cache Valley. I don't think there's a reason. Let's not get any conspiracy theories going here, but it's the timing. So you had Jill Zollinger, Cache County Clerk, last August, leave the post. They had just a few weeks to get someone into that position. Former Logan City Council member Jess Bradfield was elected in a special election to the Cache County Clerk and Auditor position last early fall. David Zook elected in a special election to replace Craig Butters as Cache County Executive after Butters was nominated by the governor to serve as Director or Commissioner of the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food. So, yeah, there's no conspiracy going on here. It's just been timing, nominations by governors, Zollinger's decision to retire, things like that. But, yeah, the Cache County GOP has been pretty busy with the special elections, and here's another one. So Swink announced again this week that July 5th would be his last day in the elected office of Cache County Attorney. And Chris Booth said that he expects the Cache County Council Chair, Gina Worthen, to formally notify the party of that office vacancy by July 7th. This all has to be done officially on paper, or I guess it's electronically now, but there are rules for this, so an official notification has to happen. That'll happen, Booth said, by July 7th, and then the local Republican Party, the Cache Republican Party, will have roughly 30 days to provide a list of nominees to the county council for review. So this will be the third special election to happen within the Cache County Republican Party in the last year. And again, that includes the retiring of former Cache County Clerk Jill Zollinger and the appointment of former County Executive Craig Butters to the Department of Agriculture and Food by the governor. Once he was elected, Cox made that announcement during the interim. So in the last 12 months, last year roughly, this will be the third special election to take place. Booth said, Cache County GOP Chairman Chris Booth told Charlie Schill at CacheValleyDaily.com, you can read the full story at CacheValleyDaily.com, said this one will be different because the state code requires that we provide a list of up to 3 qualified candidates to the members of the county council. So that state code, because a county attorney or a district attorney, those types of jobs are different, involving, it's an elected office, but it involves a very different type of work than just typical representative government, like replacing someone as a clerk or executive or even a council member in a special election, where it can run entirely through the local party in a special election with delegates, things like that. The county attorney, state law requires that that work a bit differently. So they have to send at most 3 qualified candidates to the members of the county council, according to statute. And there are some minimum qualifications for those candidates as well. And then the council will review them and make a decision. Booth said that his understanding is, and mine as well, that minimum qualifications for a county attorney candidate, the person must be a resident of the county that they're going to represent as county attorney, and they must be licensed in good standing with the Utah State Bar Association or by the Utah State Bar Association. So Booth said the filing period for applicants wanting to be considered will be announced after that July 7th official notification. So again, even though we know that this is going to happen, there's still a correction from a caller. Thank you. I didn't catch myself saying that. Apparently it's 4 p.m. to midnight in Evanston.
What did you say?
I think I said 4 to 9, or no, I said 5. I said 5 to 9.
Yeah, 4 hours.
It's apparently 4 p.m. to midnight, and I googled that. That is correct. I misread that. So it's 4 p.m. to midnight. So, and some great quotes in the Fox 13 story, by the way, from some of the city council members and county council representative or county commissioners that got together and made this decision. There's pretty extreme concern out there. You can watch the video on via the link on our Facebook page. Anyway, back to this again. So even though we know this is going to happen, an official announcement or notification has to take place. And then once that happens, Booth said shortly after that, they'll get word out, and we'll help them do so via our airwaves as well, that a filing period has begun. So if you're interested in being county attorney, there's an opportunity coming up here. Just after July 7th, expect an announcement on when the filing period will be. And again, this all has to happen within about 30 days. Up to 3 qualified nominees must be sent to the county council for review. So Swink said that he's resigning from office to join the Weber County Attorney's Office as a criminal prosecutor. So this is an interesting move because it's a step down in title, but moving to a much larger county as a criminal prosecutor, it's a step up in workload and scope of the job. So that I wish him luck in that job.
Yeah,
because that's going to be. I would bet, not that things aren't busy at the county attorney's office here in Cache County, but moving from Cache to Weber as a criminal prosecutor, that's
double the population. Well, even more than that in Weber County.
Yeah, almost triple.
Yeah.
Last time I looked, which was a while ago. So, yeah, 12 years in the job. One of my favorite people to interview here in Cache Valley. We'll see if we can somehow twist his arm, get him here on the show next week before he's officially in that position of criminal prosecutor, where there are going to be rules where he's not allowed to talk to us, at least not about specifics. So, James, if you're out there listening, watch for a text. We'll see if we can get him here on the show, but I'm going to miss him in the office, but he's not leaving this field, rather moving to another county and taking a position as a criminal prosecutor within another county attorney's office, a much larger county, Weber County. So, again, Swink made that announcement last week and will be officially no longer in that position July 5th. July 7th, official notification, or by July 7th, official notification of the vacancy will be sent to the Cache County GOP. That's a technical requirement in all of this. And then that kicks off a 30-day clock in which they have to send at least, or up to, at most 3 qualified nominees to the county council for review and consideration. So just after July 7th, there should be word, Chris Booth, chairman of the Cache County GOP, said, of an official filing period. We'll keep you posted. Story about all this and some more details about Swink and his time in office, 12 years as Cache County attorney, coming to an end on Monday. In the story, local GOP special election will select county attorney nominees by KVN, CacheValleyDaily.com's Charlie Schill. That is linked on our Facebook page as well. And we'll be back with more of For the People on the other side of these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:34. The news is brought to you by Cache Valley Pharmacy. Fire crews successfully doused the flames of another two-alarm apartment fire to burn across the Wasatch Front this week. Captain Jared Schreiner with the Salt Lake City Fire Department told KUTV the fire started at approximately 3:15 this morning at the Four Seasons condominiums. One unit was involved in the fire, and Schreiner said the heavy flames were put out quickly without spreading to other units. One family was displaced, and one person did suffer smoke inhalation. Everyone in the building was evacuated, and the fire does not appear to be suspicious at this time. And it's the fifth multi-unit structure fire along the Wasatch Front this week. A jury has found anti-government activist and agitator Ammon Bundy guilty of misdemeanor trespassing and misdemeanor resisting or obstructing officers. The Idaho Statesman reports Bundy was found guilty Thursday evening after a 4-day trial and short deliberations. Co-defendant Aaron Von Schmidt was found guilty of misdemeanor trespassing. Both men were arrested August 25th and charged with trespassing when they refused to leave a State House auditorium after officials ordered it cleared. Bundy was sentenced to 3 days in jail, but was given credit for time served, 48 hours of community service, and a $750 fine. Von Schmidt was sentenced to 3 days in jail, but also got credit for time served and a $500 fine. And the new committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol has a surprise member, Republican Liz Cheney of Wyoming. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Thursday named Cheney and 7 Democrats to a new select committee on the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. The panel will investigate what went wrong when hundreds of supporters of then-President Donald Trump broke into the Capitol, hunted for lawmakers, and interrupted the congressional certification of Democrat Joe Biden's election victory. Cheney says she's honored to serve on the committee. The Wyoming Republican was ousted from House Republican leadership earlier this year for her harsh criticism of Trump. KBNU News Time is 4:37.
This is Phil with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We love being in Cache Valley and want to thank you for your support. Cache Valley Pharmacy features the best prices in the valley, and as always, free delivery. If you're in the market for prescriptions, check first with Cache Valley Pharmacy for the absolute best prices, especially on compounds and insulin. We've been doing pharmacy better than anyone else in the valley with free delivery valley-wide for the last 19 years. Cache Valley Pharmacy, the pharmacy delivery experts. Order your prescriptions online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
KVNU weather becoming clear tonight, and the overnight low is going to be around 60. And then hot temperatures over the weekend, mid-90s tomorrow, upper 90s on Sunday, mid-90s on Monday. It's been to 91. It's 88 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Bring back the sounds you've been missing. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Danes at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Pristine wilderness can still be found in the West, where creeks run freely and historic apple trees still bear fruit. Maple Creek Ranch features breathtaking canyon views and opportunities for real estate development. 2.5-acre lots are now available with adjacent wilderness areas that provide endless riding and recreational possibilities. So find your piece of paradise just 35 minutes from Logan at Maple Creek Ranch. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, your Edward Jones financial advisor can help you prepare for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Edward Jones office. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
The American Festival Chorus and Orchestra bring to life the powerful Mozart Requiem, July 10th at 1 p.m. in the Ellen Eccles Theater. This magnificent work will take you on an emotional journey that ends with hope and healing, comfort and peace. Dr. Craig Jessup and the American Festival Chorus are gifting all proceeds to Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater. Come and be inspired. UtahFestival.org. UtahFestival.org.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Big news from the Attorney General's office today. An arrest made, and let's see this. The arrest itself was made in Weber County sometime, I believe, just this morning. May have been yesterday, and just taken a while to get the press release out. But one thing the Attorney General's office did say clearly is that this investigation had actually been going on for a bit. It began earlier in the month of June when the Mexican consulate in Salt Lake City reached out to the Asian Association of Utah. This is a service agency for refugees, and supplied some information. The Mexican consulate in Salt Lake City supplied some information that led to the discovery of what's known as labor trafficking. And this is all according to the Attorney General's office statement put out and police affidavits that some members of Salt Lake City media have already dug up. But basically what was happening here is a company called Midway West Amusement. Now, I've been doing, this is unscientific. There might have been an event I couldn't find, but just some quick searching online to see if this company had operated at any events here in Cache Valley or in Box Elder County, Rich County, here in northern Utah. I couldn't find anything. The closest I could find is it looks like they set up basically a parking lot carnival for an extended period of time in the parking lot of the Layton Hills Mall back in 2019. But they have been in operation for quite some time. The company owned by an Arizona man. And what he's accused of, and why the Attorney General's office was excited to announce this arrest today, Jordan Nathaniel Jensen, 31-year-old Arizona man operating a company here in Utah, again called Midway West Amusement, was accused of labor trafficking, which was a charge, or is accused of labor trafficking, which is a charge that stems from allegations that he was, so there are these types of work visas the immigrants can get. It means they're here in the country legally for a type of work for a period of time. And oftentimes these visas can be renewed almost indefinitely as long as the person, stays out of trouble and stays into contact with immigration authorities and it stays employed at the work they came here to do. So in fact, there are professors sometimes at Utah State University or other universities that are here on these same H-1B work visas. But most of them go towards a lot of the produce agriculture that happens here in Utah. There's a lot of hiring of individuals that come here to work for a season. And they go back home and they come back for the next season. So there's things like that happen here in Utah a lot. Apparently what this individual allegedly was doing, Jensen was hiring these individuals, and then because they didn't understand, assumedly, didn't understand U.S. immigration law themselves well, he was withholding those visas and forcing them to work in some pretty nasty conditions. Housing was a mobile trailer without running water, the affidavit says, no electricity or even air conditioning. Some trailers contained beds, others did not. Sometimes there'd be 4 and 5 people in a trailer, even without a bed. And victims reported they had no way to cook hot meals. And many times the owners of the business would, quote, again from the affidavit, not give them water or allow them to take a water break for an entire 8 to 10 hour shift at the carnival. And then the shift would end. They'd be very hungry and obviously thirsty. That's a statement again from the affidavit. They were also accused of being hostile, creating hostile working conditions. In particular, Jensen himself, the affidavit alleges, or a statement from one of the victims in the affidavit, says Jensen would threaten to send them back to Mexico if they complained about any of this or made him mad in any way. And then, of course, they, not understanding that work visa didn't allow their employer to deport them for these reasons, at least, and so they didn't fight back. And apparently, the allegations, the Attorney General's office said some of the allegations even include people that would quit or threaten to quit, and then he would just not let them leave, and they were afraid to do so with some of the threats he would make, and then he would just stop paying them, and they would just have to stay there and keep working anyway. Something right out of a movie happening right here in Utah with this Midway West Amusement was the name of the basically carnival ride company. And again, the closest I found to northern Utah that they'd operated at any point was they'd set up shop for a few weeks in 2019 in the parking lot of the Layton Hills Mall. And again, this announcement came today through the Utah Attorney General's office. The affidavits were quickly dug up by Salt Lake Media. If you'd like to read some of those stories, I've linked to them on our Facebook page. But the statement from the Utah Attorney General's office is on our Facebook page. And the reason it's an important read or an interesting read is the Attorney General's office also detailed how this came about. And the Attorney General here in Utah, the Attorney General's office, I'm not sure this is coming from the Attorney General himself, but the Attorney General's office has been making a pretty big making a pretty big deal out of what they are calling these super targeted strike forces. These strike forces that are a part of the Attorney General's office doing the same work that they would always be doing, but through the strike force designation, they're just laser targeted on a certain thing. And the Attorney General's office has done this with human trafficking investigations. They've done this with white-collar crime investigations, blue-collar crime. There was a big copper theft ring a little while ago, a strike force brought down. They have used these strike forces to the investigation that took down the pharmaceutical company owner guy that was pitching the hydro, whatever, I can't even remember the name of it now, this supposed cure for COVID-19 that was out there for a little while. Wasn't a cure, big scam. And then it turns out he was actually getting a lot of his pharmaceuticals illegally for the company itself. And he's headed off to jail. That was the result of an Attorney General strike force. And then, of course, the Attorney General using strike forces whenever there's an Amber Alert, an active Amber Alert. So the Attorney General's office in this statement about the investigation also details that a listener here saying that this carnival owner operated in Ogden at the Newgate Mall for quite some time. I don't remember that. I couldn't find that just with my simple searching of news stories. But a listener here saying that they were in the parking lot of the Newgate Mall for at least one summer recently. So, I don't see anything about them in Cache Valley, though, at least. So, anyway, the Attorney General's office said that this arrest was important because it took less than a week. So the initial call came at the 1st of June. The official investigation had gained enough steam and they'd collected enough evidence to support the allegations that they then could turn it over to the Attorney General's office and the strike force could fire up. That happened on Monday, and they arrested this person. It sounds like it was early this morning. So the Attorney General's office taking a minute to not really crow or pat themselves on the back, just to say, look, this experiment we've been doing with these strike forces is working. And so a statement from the Utah Attorney General's office, one of the assistant attorney generals, Jose Boron, said this rapid intervention of the Utah Trafficking in Persons Task Force should be recognized, and we encourage all of those in the same situation to denounce it and, more importantly, speak up. Utah Attorney General's office said several Mexican nationals, all legally in the U.S., again, on work visas, H-2B visas. I think I said H-1B before, sorry. H-2B visas. We're having these visas withheld for them. We're being forced to work in living and working conditions that the Attorney General's office described as awful, horrific, and hostile to the individuals. And again, this arrest was made possible in less than a week. So the Attorney General's office saying these strike forces are working. They're happy to see that, and that it's great that an important arrest like this is an example of that trial run of strike forces producing some results. So read the Attorney General's full statement, gives you an idea of how these types of investigations happen and why the Attorney General's office is excited that it could happen so quickly, not only for the sake of the victims, but also a streamlined process when things have gone through the proper channels, all the I's dotted, T's crossed, and then the Attorney General's office, rather than having to wait months to get out and make an arrest when they know they have the evidence to do so, was able to do it in a matter of days. That's a big shift for the Attorney General's office in any state. It does come with some risks as well. So check it out. Statement from the Attorney General's office on our Facebook page, and we'll be back right after this.
This is Cheryl bringing you the daily financial market report for July 2nd on behalf of financial advisor Jeff Olson and Edward Jones. Stocks finished modestly higher on Friday, heading into the long holiday weekend. The June jobs report came in ahead of expectations, setting a positive tone for the economic outlook in the second half of the year. The technology sector led the gains today in reaction to the strong payroll data and the downtick in Treasury yields, which moved slightly lower on the day, suggesting the bond market doesn't see a dramatic shift in Fed expectations following the employment news. The S&P 500 finished higher each day this week, with optimism supported by encouraging economic data as well as receding fears that the Fed will tighten policy prematurely. The Dow closed up 154 points at 34,788. The NASDAQ closed up 117 points at 14,639. The S&P 500 closed up 33 points at 4,352. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 1.43%, lower by 0.04 percentage points. In stocks of local interest, Nucor was down 0.13 to 96.52. Thermo Fisher was up 3.79 to 513.32. Wells Fargo was down 0.34 to 45.07. Walmart was up 0.79 to 140.11. Chevron was down 0.14 to 106.07. Apple was up 2.69 to 139.96. Walt Disney was down 0.15 to 177.11. Procter & Gamble was up 0.66 to 135.90. Autoliv was up 0.18 to 98.13. Northrop Grumman was up 1.58 to 369.20. Zions was down 0.56 to 53.26. R. Donnelley was down 0.11 to 6.67. Amazon was up 78.01 to 3,510.98. This has been today's financial market report, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Jeff Olson, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 580 North Main in Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact our branch office at 435-787-8170. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
You want a business you can trust with a name you can trust to work on your vehicle. Think AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care in North Logan. They have the experience to get your vehicle in and out quickly, diagnosed, and fixed right at the most affordable cost. AMCO, 75 East, 2000 North in North Logan. And hey, if you're a mechanic, AMCO is hiring. Come start your career for that same great national name and enjoy your new career. Apply today.
AA MCO.
Connect. It's what we do and where we go. We connect with people at home or at work, online or in person. Everyone needs connecting. At CDTD, we are committed to helping our community connect by providing a service for you, a service that gives some the independence that they otherwise might not have. Our employees are here to connect you with the people and places that matter most through our services and through our values. Learn more at cbtdbus.org.
If you're in charge of hiring a company for commercial janitorial services for your building, call American Maintenance. For reliable cleaning of your business, American Maintenance is your simple solution. Curb-to-curb services, American Maintenance has you covered. For commercial janitorial services, American Maintenance. Call 512-0014. That's 512-0014.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News, the potential gasoline shortages because of a lack of tanker truck drivers. Also, sellers listing their homes at crazy prices just to see if there are any takers. Plus, America's most and least independent states, the secret to saving more money, and the search for high school graduates who hopped off the college path. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM, your station for news, weather, and sports.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. For the People movie show with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com coming up in just a few minutes. As I mentioned yesterday, we actually do have some pretty long list, actually, of stuff to talk about with Andy. And one surprise, because he'd sort of panned this. He'd panned this movie just last week. Said he was sort of making fun of it and saying, he didn't like zombie movies, things like that. And then he went to see it, and apparently he liked it. So hear that surprise from Andy coming up in hour 2. We'll also have a chance to talk about Loki on Disney Plus has been a big hit. We'll talk about why this is hitting with Marvel fans. If you're a Marvel fan and haven't seen it, check it out and let us know what you think during the movie show, because Disney has officially had their first Marvel-sized hit with their Marvel spin-offs. So, not that they've had any real losers, but this is the first one that just went the way a Marvel movie normally would as far as splash and recognition and discussion. So it's kind of an odd 4th of July holiday timing-wise. The 4th on Sunday, most of the celebrations happening on the 5th. People being asked by the governor on down to forego personal fireworks and instead tune into their local city's fireworks show. So just going to run through a quick list here for everyone. And of course, as is tradition here, the Cache Valley Media Group will be providing the patriotic music soundtrack for Cache Valley celebrations throughout the upcoming holiday weekend. And so there are there's 10 FM and AM radio stations here in the Valley through the Cache Valley Media Group that will all be broadcasting 30-minute programs of patriotic music at 10 p.m. Saturday, July 3rd, Sunday, July 4th, and again Monday, July 5th. And that's because there are various cities holding these different fireworks shows. So again, where we're all being asked to forego the personal fireworks this year, so we don't burn the state down, which is not really fun, but it's not a huge ask. So I think we'll live. The cities are going to be doing these professional fireworks shows with fire crews on hand, so you'll at least have that, and we'll be providing the backdrop. So now, why Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? That's because fireworks displays are slated in Logan and Lewiston Saturday, July 3rd, and in Hiram Monday, July 5th. And so the patriotic program will also be played Sunday evening, July 4th, for local residents that are celebrating on the 4th. So that is, again, 10 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday evenings, 30-minute musical program here on all of our stations at the Cache Valley Media Group. It's going to be, we'll talk about it.
And you probably won't hear this song on that program when the fireworks are. You won't hear this music like this. But
no, but it'll work. You could do it. All right. So there you have it. Again, 10 p.m. Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night here on all of our stations at the Cache Valley Media Group. A patriotic program to go with the city fireworks shows. And, well, check out the headlines and the news now into the world of movies and entertainment with Andy Morgan of AndyAtTheMovies.com. The For the People movie show is next here on KVNU Logan.